Welcome back to Boring Tales. Tonight, we return to the slow, peaceful world of Thomas, the medieval baker. Let the rhythm of his day carry you gently into rest and into sleep. After the meal, he clears the table, wipes the bowl, folds the cloth. There is no rush. The bowl can dry in its own time. The cloth can hang by the window. The crumbs can stay until tomorrow. Everything can wait. The afternoon stretches like warm dough left to rise. He reads no books. He writes no letters. But he moves from seat to cot, from door to stool, like a man unbound by hours or tasks. He may step outside and sit on the bench. He may close his eyes and doze. He may trace the grain of the wood with the tip of one finger. Again and again. He may breathe in the smell of old flour and sun-warmed stone, and think of nothing at all. This is the part of life that has no name, no list, no measure, only time, passing, quietly, like clouds moving slowly overhead, or the weight of wool resting on your shoulders. You do not carry it. You do not resist it. You simply let it be. And when the sun slips lower in the sky, casting long shadows through the bakehouse door, Thomas rises and begins his evening, just as slowly as he began his day. Before the light has fully returned to the sky, Thomas is already awake. The darkness is soft, not heavy. The kind that begins to lift before you notice it's gone. His hands reach for the tunic laid neatly across the stool, folded the night before, creased with care. He dresses slowly. Every movement familiar. Every step taken in silence. Today is not like Sunday. Today has purpose. Still gentle. Still quiet. But purposeful. It is market day. And that means bread. He had baked the day before. Loaves shaped with calm hands, risen in the warmth of the firelight, browned to a soft, even gold. He moves toward the wooden shelf where they rest, cool now, their crusts set. Rows of bread, round and firm, lined like sleeping children in their blankets of linen. Some are smaller, for those with little coin. Others, tall and proud, for a family's table. All of them simple. None of them rushed. Each one shaped in the slow rhythm of a man who has done this for a lifetime. He lifts the cloth, checking the undersides. Cool. Dry. Ready. He nods once, without speaking. Then begins to wrap them, one by one, in soft cloth sacks. The edges tucked in gently, so no crust is rubbed, no corners pressed. The cloth is plain. No colors. No markings. But clean. Soft. And always folded in the same way. The baskets are next. 2 of them. Woven by the cooper's wife many years ago. One is slightly cracked near the rim. But it still holds well. Still carries weight without complaint. He arranges the loaves inside the first. Then the second. Not stacked. Not crammed. Just placed. Gently. Respectfully. The smell of the bread lingers in the air. Wheat. Wood smoke. The faint scent of old stone and heat. It is not overwhelming. Not sweet. Not strong. Just comforting. Soft. Familiar. He checks the coins in the pouch near the shelf. Mostly copper. A few silver bits. Not many. But enough to make change if someone brings a full piece. He tucks it away under the sash at his waist. Then lifts the baskets. One in each hand. Balanced. He stands for a moment before leaving the bakehouse. Looking back, as he always does. Making sure everything is in its place. It always is. But he always checks. It is habit. It is rhythm. It is his way. Outside, the path is quiet. But ahead, just past the green, just beyond the stone well, the market will be slowly waking. He begins his walk. Boots brushing the earth. Basket steady. The bread moves gently with every step. Crust against cloth. Weight in his arms. A rhythm in his body as he walks into the slow heart of market day. The market square is not yet full. It never is this early. Just a few stalls being unfolded like old blankets. Canvas tied to wooden beams. Baskets placed at corners. Crates set down with soft thuds. No shouting. No haggling. Not yet. Only quiet preparation. The hum before the morning fully begins. Thomas walks slowly through the path he always takes. Past the stone fountain, still damp from the night's dew. Past the bench beneath the linden tree, where the blacksmith sometimes sits when his joints ache. And then, to the very edge of the square, beside the weaver's wall, where the sun arrives slowly and the shadows are long. That's where he sets up. Always the same place. Always the same space. A corner that needs nothing, no shade, no sign, just his quiet presence. He places the baskets on the flat stone step that juts from the wall. One slightly behind the other. So the smaller loaves are in front, and the tall round ones rest safely behind. He folds the cloths back, just enough to show the bread. Not exposed. Just visible. Their golden crusts catching the faint light of morning. Still warm, though they were baked the day before. Still fragrant. Still welcoming. He sits on the stool he brought strapped to his back. A short stool. 3 legs. Worn smooth by time. He does not call out. He does not wave. He just waits. With hands resting in his lap, and the weight of calm settling around him. The first customer is not a stranger. It is old Martin, the miller's brother, who comes every week for the same small loaf. He never speaks much. Just a nod. A coin. And a hand outstretched. Thomas gives him the bread he always chooses, a round, slightly firm loaf, with a crackled top and soft middle. No need for conversation. They've had it many times before. And Martin walks away, chewing as he goes. The second is a mother with a child clinging to her skirt. She asks if the bread is fresh. Thomas nods once. Says softly, baked yesterday. She smiles. Hands over a silver piece. Takes a larger loaf. Her child tugs at the cloth sack, wanting a taste. She breaks off a bit. Gives it to him. He chews it slowly, eyes wide. And then they are gone. The market is still not crowded. But more feet pass by. More baskets creak. More voices murmur, soft and low. Thomas does not rise unless someone stops. He does not fidget. Does not pace. He waits, like a tree in the corner of a field. Present. Patient. Unmoving. Sometimes a merchant offers to trade, a wedge of cheese, a strip of cloth, a tin spoon. Thomas accepts when it's fair. He does not count coins. Only offers what feels right. 2 loaves for cheese. 1 for apples. A soft trade in a quiet world. Hours pass slowly. The baskets grow lighter. The sun climbs higher, warming the back of his tunic. And when there are only 2 loaves left, he knows the morning is ending. He does not hurry to sell them. Sometimes he keeps 1 for a neighbor in need. Sometimes he takes both home. Either way, the market has served its purpose. The rhythm has been kept. The bread has moved from his hands to theirs. The square is quieter now. Not silent, but slower. Voices low, stalls half emptied, the buzz of trade softened into murmurs and the scrape of baskets being packed away. Thomas stands. His knees ache, but not sharply. Just a dull reminder of time, and age, and long market days gone by. He lifts 1 basket. Then the other. They are nearly empty now. One holds a single loaf, the other, only crumbs and the folded cloth that kept the crust from drying. His hands know the weight. How it shifts when the bread is gone. How the handles pull differently against his palms. He carries it just the same. He nods to the old cooper who's still tying string around bundles of twine. He nods to the candlemaker's daughter, who waves with fingers dusted in beeswax. He walks the same path out, past the bench, past the well, down the lane. Each step as measured as the ones that brought him in. There is no rush. The loaves are gone. The sun is still high. The day is not over, but it needn't be filled. The breeze follows him. Mild. Just enough to lift the linen of his sleeves. Birds chirp lazily from the thatched rooflines, but even they seem to move slower after midday. A chicken crosses the lane, its claws scratching soft dust. Thomas steps aside, lets it pass. There is no reason to interrupt its journey. He reaches the cottage before long. It never looks new, never grand, but it always looks like his. The stones stacked just as they were when he moved in. The door a little bowed at the middle. The window ledge slanted slightly from years of leaning. He likes it that way. He would not fix it even if he could. He sets the baskets down just inside the door. The cloth he folds. The crumbs he shakes out onto the patch of earth beside the doorstep, for birds, or ants, or no one at all. He pulls the coin pouch from beneath his belt. Loosens the drawstring. Tips it out onto the table. Copper, mostly. 2 silver pieces nestled near the bottom. A fair day. Not rich, but fair. He places the coins into the wooden bowl. Lids it with a cloth. Pushes it to the back of the shelf. He does not count them. Not again. He knows what's there. And he knows it will be enough. He returns to the remaining loaf. Holds it in one hand. Feels its weight. This one will be his supper. Or perhaps tomorrow's. He sets it aside. Then he washes his hands, slowly, with cold water from the pitcher. Rubs his palms together. Lets the dirt and flour run into the basin. He dries them on the cloth that always hangs by the door. Then he sits. Back straight. Hands on knees. No words. Just the quiet of a market day done. Just the fading light through the bakehouse window. Stretching across the stone. Landing softly on the baskets, now empty. It is quiet, even more than usual. No bread is being mixed. No dough rests in bowls. No flour dust drifts through the morning light. Instead, the bakehouse smells of cool stone and old smoke. Of still air and dark corners. Lent is coming. And that means the oven must be cleaned. Not just swept. Not just tidied. Cleaned. Thomas stands before the old oven, hands folded, apron wrapped tightly around his waist. He does not rush. The oven has been in use for nearly a year without a full clearing. Not since the last Lent, when he cleaned it in the same slow, deliberate way. The bricks are blackened. The hearth floor layered with a year's worth of ash and soot. But this is expected. This is normal. This is how time marks itself in a bakehouse. He lights no fire today. The hearth must be cold. Completely cool. So the tools do not splinter. So the soot does not rise into the air and fill his lungs. He lifts the wooden scraper, a long-handled paddle with its edge worn smooth by years of gentle scraping. It is not sharp. It was never meant to be. Its purpose is patience. He stoops low at the mouth of the oven, his back curving slowly like the arch of the stones above him. He begins at the front, drawing the paddle along the floor, pulling loose the first thin layers of ash. The sound is soft. A dry brushing. Like cloth over stone. Like wind across sand. He draws the ashes out, inch by inch. Not shoveling. Not scooping. Just guiding. The first pile is small. Pale gray. Featherlight. He moves it into the clay bin with his bare hands, cupped like they're holding water. Then returns to the oven. Scrapes again. Pulls again. Listens. To the scrape, and the hush, and the silence of the room around him. Time stretches here. There is no clock. No bell. No need for either. Only the work. Only the care. The oven gives what it has, layers of memory, crumbs of old loaves, a blackened patch where the flame once danced stronger than expected. He notes it silently. Next year, he will lay a new brick there. But not today. Today, for cleaning. His knees begin to ache. So he shifts. Moves to the other side. Continues the work. Ash piles build slowly. Some coarse. some soft as flour. And each time he removes one, a little more light seems to return to the stone. The red bricks beneath the soot are dull, but honest. Worn, but whole. They have served him well. He continues without hurry. Just a man, in an old bakehouse, brushing away a year in slow, quiet strokes. The ashes are gone, mostly. What remains now clings to the bricks in thin, dark streaks, like old ink, spilled and dried in the grooves of the hearth. It is time for water. Not boiling. Not even warm. Just cool, clear water drawn that morning from the village well. He sets the bucket beside him, carefully, so it doesn't slosh. The cloth he uses is not new. Not soft. A square of coarse linen, frayed at the corners, folded once, then again. He dips the cloth slowly. The water turns grey almost instantly, like memory swirling in a quiet mind. He squeezes the cloth with both hands, watching the drips fall into the bucket again. Then he begins. He scrubs in slow, steady circles. No force. No pressure. Just movement. Wiping the inner curve of the oven's mouth. Then farther in, reaching as far as his arm allows. Each stroke leaves behind a faint mark, cleaner, damp, cooling quickly on the warm brick. He pauses now and then to rinse. Dips the cloth, watches the soot swirl, wrings it out again, starts over. The repetition is quiet and soothing. Like winding thread. Like shelling peas. Like any old task done many times with no need for thought. Just presence. His back begins to bend deeper, further into the oven's mouth. The stone brushing the shoulder of his tunic. But he does not mind. He is used to this. This scrubbing. This stillness. He listens to the sound of cloth on stone. To the drip of water from his sleeves. To the quiet shifting of the bakehouse around him. No voices. No clatter. Just the rhythm of cleaning and the echo of each breath within the oven's curved belly. When the cloth becomes too dirty, he takes another. He has 3, folded neatly at the edge of the hearth. Each one stiff. Each one worn. Each one good enough. He does not hurry. He does not stop. It will take the time it takes. And when it is done, the bricks will be clean. Not new, not bright, but clean. And that will be enough. The floor is damp now. The hearth is bare. The scent in the air is a mixture of stone and ash, linen and earth. It is not unpleasant. It is honest. The scent of something put right again. He sets the cloths aside to dry. They will hang from pegs beside the door. Dripping slowly. Stiffening by dusk. The bucket he carries outside pours into the trough where the chickens peck. The water runs dark and thin. Then it's gone. He stands in the doorway for a moment longer. Looking back. The oven is quiet now. Cooler. Calmer. And for the first time in many months, truly clean. The oven is silent. The bricks still hold a whisper of warmth, but soon, even that will fade. And that is how it should be. For now, for these coming days, this hearth will rest. Thomas does not light a fire. He does not mix dough. He does not even open the bin of flour that sits in the corner with its lid snug and heavy. Instead, he brushes off the wooden paddle used for scraping. Wipes the handle. Leans it gently against the wall. The tools will rest too. The cloths have dried just enough to hang without dripping. He folds them once, then again. Then places them on the shelf above the basin, where they will stay until Easter. Everything has its place. Everything has its pause. The bakehouse feels different now. Not empty. Not forgotten. But waiting. The air is lighter, less clouded by flour, less warmed by fire. Even the light seems softer, as if the sun outside knows not to disturb the quiet inside. Dust floats gently through the beams. Settling slowly on stone, on bench, on nothing. Thomas stands in the center of the room. He clasps his hands behind his back, not in prayer, but in rest. He looks around at what he will not use, the kneading board, the sacks of meal, the scorched wood pile beside the hearth. Each thing in its place. Each thing unchanged. Each thing waiting. Lent is not for baking. Not in this village. Not in this house. It is for stillness. For silence. For long mornings with no fire to build and no bread to shape. At first, he will miss it, the rising dough, the scent of yeast, the heft of the peel in his hands. But then he will settle into it. The quiet. The calm. The long, empty space that lets the days stretch without demand. The oven will sit cold. The coals will not be touched. The stones will be left alone. And for 40 days, the bakehouse will hold its breath. Not in sorrow. Not in loss. But in sacred stillness. The light has changed. Not suddenly. Not all at once. But slowly, as it always does. It filters now through the small window at a lower angle, not golden, but silvered. Soft. Cool. Evening has come. Thomas stands by the door. He does not rush. He looks once more around the bakehouse. The walls are quiet. The tools are still. The scent in the room is faint, a mixture of cooled loaves and old flour. He steps to the bench where the baskets were kept. Now empty. The bread is gone, all sold. All eaten, perhaps. Or waiting on shelves across the village to be sliced with tomorrow's stew. He wipes the bench slowly, his cloth moving in long, unhurried strokes. Not because it is dirty, but because the motion itself is part of the closing. He takes the broom again. The same one from the early morning. Its bristles bent just slightly, smelling faintly of ash. He sweeps the floor once more, though little needs clearing. A few crumbs. A scatter of flour. A dried leaf that drifted in when the door was open. He gathers them together, soft circles of motion, and tips them into a small clay dish kept for this very purpose. Then he folds the cloths. All of them. Stacked with slow hands, edges aligned. Set neatly on the stone shelf beside the basin. He leans the paddle beside the wall. Brushes it once with his sleeve. It, too, has done its work. One by one, everything finds its resting place. At last, he walks to the hearth. No fire burns there. Not now. Not tonight. Just the cool curve of the stone interior, blackened and silent. He places one hand on the edge, fingers resting on the brick lip that's worn smooth from so many mornings. Just a moment. Then he steps back. The door is drawn shut. Wood against wood. A soft click as the latch meets the frame. The bakehouse is closed. And Thomas, at last, is done for the day. Thomas walks home with slow, steady steps. The day has ended, but he does not rush. The path is familiar. The same ruts in the dirt. The same quiet hedges leaning in along the way. In his hand, he carries a simple bundle, linen, knotted gently. Inside, a single loaf of bread. Still warm in the center, but cooling now. It is not the largest loaf. Not the roundest. But it is whole, and it is his. His cottage welcomes him with its quiet. No noise. No fire yet crackling. Only the soft stillness of walls that hold what little warmth remains. He closes the door behind him, gently, so it doesn't creak. Then sets the loaf on the wooden table, worn smooth from years of quiet meals just like this one. The room is dusky now. The last of the daylight spilling through the cracks around the shuttered window. He does not light a candle. Not yet. Instead, he moves slowly to wash his hands. The water in the basin is cool. He pours it from a jug, listens to the trickle as it splashes against the stone. He cups his hands. Lets the water run through his fingers. Then dries them on the same cloth he used this morning. Even now, at the end of the day, he does not rush. He unwraps the bread. The cloth unfolds like a blessing. Inside, the crust is golden, slightly uneven, a little crack along one side where it rose in the oven just so. He places it at the center of the table. The bread looks almost like a companion. Steady. Quiet. Solid. He reaches for the knife. Its wooden handle is worn to the shape of his hand. The blade is not sharp, but it is enough. He holds the loaf with one hand, steady, then presses the blade against the crust. It gives with a soft sound. A quiet crunch. A slow sigh from the loaf as it yields. The first slice falls to the side. Then the second. He stacks them neatly. No crumbs wasted. Each piece set gently on a wooden plate he carved long ago on a winter evening. Thomas sits. The bench beneath him does not creak. It has known his weight for too many years to resist it now. He takes a slice, lifts it slowly, breaks it in half. Steam rises just barely, a ghost of warmth that touches his nose before it fades. He eats without hurry. One bite. Then a pause. Then another. Chewing slowly, eyes unfocused, gazing across the room toward nothing in particular. There is no stew tonight. No butter. No cheese. Just bread. But bread is enough. He pours a little ale from a clay jug, brown, unmarked. The sound of it filling the cup is soft, comforting. He drinks. Then another bite. Another chew. Another pause. Each motion is like a lullaby, repeating. Slowing. Soothing. When the meal is done, he does not rise right away. He sits. Breathes. Lets the quiet settle in around him like a shawl. There is no need to speak. No one to hear. Only the sound of the wind softly pressing against the shuttered window, and the faint pop of an ember from the hearth. At last, he lifts the remaining bread. Wraps it again in the linen cloth. Ties the corners. Smooths the fold with one hand. He sets it aside, for tomorrow, or perhaps the next day. It is a small comfort to have something already waiting. Then he clears the table. Wipes the wood with slow, even strokes. Puts the plate away. The knife. The cup. He moves quietly, as though not to wake some invisible stillness settling in the corners of the room. There is no more to do. Only rest. And sleep. The room is dim now. Almost dark. Just the faint glow of embers in the hearth, and the soft whisper of wind against the shutters. Thomas moves slowly. He does not speak. He does not sing. He removes his boots by the door, leather stiff, soles dusty. Sets them beside one another, to wait for the next day. Then the tunic. The apron. The linen undershirt. Each folded. Each laid gently on the wooden chest at the foot of his bed. The bed is not soft. But it is his. A straw mattress. A woolen blanket. A pillow that smells faintly of flour and morning fires. He lowers himself without sound. Back meeting straw. Arms folding over his chest. Eyes heavy. There is nothing more to do. The loaves are gone. The oven is cold. The bakehouse is quiet. Even his hands, cracked, dry, flour-marked, feel still. They do not ache. They do not reach. They simply rest. Tomorrow is Sunday. No baking. No sweeping. No dough. Only bells. And silence. And the distant scent of stewed lentils from other cottages. He listens, just for a moment. To the wind. To the creak of the rafters. To the breath that leaves him slower with every passing second. Then, at last, he closes his eyes. And in the quiet, in the stillness, the baker sleeps. You've been listening to the life of a medieval baker, here on Boring Tales. A quiet journey through flour, fire, and time. If you're still awake, feel free to like, subscribe, and leave a soft word below. We release gentle sleep stories every week to calm your mind and quiet your thoughts. But for now, let the stillness carry you. And rest. Good night.